Welcome back to my road to completion guide for Uncharted Drake's Fortune Remastered. This is episode 26, and the first thing that we want to do is make sure that we grab this treasure. This is the gold ingot. It's going to be treasure 59 of 61. And now we're going to make our way to what I feel like is the second toughest combat sequence in the entire game. But I'm going to show you guys some really cool strategies to get through it. It comes in two waves. We're going to be fighting outside of the church. Then we're going to make our way inside of the church. And once you guys make it through that, we have a small little encounter with some of those crawling enemies, and then we'll be at the end of the game. But let's make our way through here. There's going to be two enemies on the right. Now, sometimes these enemies will notice you, but most of the time they will not. You can see that I was able to get the grenade. Now I'm going to push up and get the M4, and they don't even see me. All you're looking for, guys, is the lucky break where they don't see you. That way you guys have advantage play on these two enemies. Now, if by chance the enemy spots you guys while you're running for that grenade, they're of course going to know that you're on the map. They're going to start firing at you guys. You might just want to go ahead and restart the checkpoint. You guys will load back in the hallway. Then of course you can make your way for that grenade and the M4 again. Trust me, more times than not, you guys will successfully be able to pick up the grenade and the M4 and make it to this piece of cover with no problem. And all I'm doing at this point is waiting for the enemy that's in the back to toss a grenade. You see when he hits the animation, I run up behind him to get my melee kill and then immediately take cover. See how that enemy doesn't really know that I'm back here? It kind of does, but then it wants to turn around and shoot at Sully. It's in between us, so he doesn't know who to focus on, right? Then we're just going to hop over the wall when that enemy is turning around looking at Sully and get another melee kill. That's going to conserve our ammo and take out the first two enemies in this area. Now, the next part of this sequence can be a little bit tricky if you guys stay out there in the open part of the map where Sully is. What you guys can do is run back here and wait for the enemies to push you guys. There's going to be like maybe 4 or 5 enemies that's going to push you guys. You can take them out with the sniper, or if you run out of sniper rifle ammo, you guys can use your pistol. The main thing you want to do here is take out the enemy with the M79. Now, sometimes it can take a while for the enemy with the M79 to push you guys when you're back in this position, and sometimes he will stay out in the center of the map, and you guys will have to slowly walk down this hallway and wait until you guys spot him. He's either going to be across the way over there on the steps, or as soon as you clear this hallway, he's going to be on your right, okay? So notice what I'm doing here. Because he hasn't pushed me yet, I'm just going to aim down sight and slowly walk through this hallway and see if I can spot him. I'm looking at the steps where my reticle is now. See if he's over there, and then if I still don't see him, I'm going to turn the corner and look to the right. But I think if I remember in this clip, I end up spotting him because I shot off in the distance there to see if I could get him to spawn in. That's something you guys can do as well. Just fire off in the distance, and a lot of times he'll know that you're here, and then he'll push you guys. See how I'm looking to the right there and I see him, so then I want to run back here, get my cover, and kill this enemy. He is the most important enemy that you guys can kill at this point, especially when it comes to our next move in this sequence. Now, even though you kill the enemy with the M79, it's very important that you guys don't start sprinting down this hallway, because there may be a few more of these guards that might want to flash around the corner from right to left and try to put some shots on target. So just make sure you slowly walk down this hallway, keep your reticle up, and get ready to kill these enemies if you see them. Now, once you guys successfully make it back to this piece of cover, there's usually only 2 or 3 enemies left on the map. And I say 2 or 3 because sometimes there's only 1 enemy trying to shoot at Sully, sometimes there's 2, but there's always going to be the guy up top, which is the enemy that I just killed. You definitely want to make sure that you take him out first, okay? You can use your dragon sniper or your pistol. Make sure that you kill him because he has the advantage on you guys. He's got the high ground, and then you can focus on any enemies that are left in the center of the map. Now, the trickiest part about finding the enemies that are in the center of the map is that you're not always going to be able to see them. So here's what you guys can do. Number 1, listen. And then number 2, look at Sully. Wherever Sully is shooting at, that's where the enemy is. Does that make sense? You can also look for crossfire for the enemy shooting at Sully, and that'll give you an idea of where they are in the center of the map. Does that make sense? And then you guys can pick those kills up. Now, once everybody's dead, you're now entering the final stage of this first sequence outside of the church. I just want you guys to roll and jump all the way to this piece of cover, post up, and then we're going to wait to get our kills as the enemies push us on the steps. We can pick up blind fire kills, or we're going to be able to come out of cover using our shoulder swap trick and kill the enemies from here. Now, if you're quick enough, you don't even have to use the shoulder swap trick, okay? Meaning you can actually stay in cover. Notice what I did with the first enemy that was up top with the laser sight. I just came out of cover, which is something we rarely do when we're playing this difficulty. But like I said, you guys are so far pushed up on this side of the map and everybody's focused on Sully. It's a lot safer to just come out of cover, but you guys can also, you know, press O to get away from that piece of cover and use the shoulder swap trick. However you guys want to do it, but if you're quick enough, you can just pop out of cover, get a few shots on target, and then pop back into cover before the enemy up top has a chance to shoot you, because remember, he does have the laser sight, so he's very accurate. So if he trains on you guys for a few seconds, he's going to get that shot and it's going to be a one-hit kill. And to be honest with you guys, the trickiest part about this sequence is not necessarily the enemies, it's the transition from one side of the map to the other. Making that transition from the hallway to where we are now is the trickiest part. And you guys can use all those obstacles that are in between there and here, you know, for cover. There's going to be enemies trying to shoot you with their laser sights when you guys are making that transition. But remember, as long as you guys are rolling and moving and ducking behind cover, the laser sight guys are really not that much of a problem. Now, as soon as Nathan and Sully start talking, that's your cue to run out, grab yourself some ammo. I thought about moving into the next combat sequence with the M79, and that's not a bad idea, but there's a lot of snipers, there's a lot of enemies with laser sights, and then we have a lot of enemies on the lower platform once we enter the church. So if I were you guys, I would pick up a pistol, the 92 FS, and I would also take into the next sequence the M4. Just grab as much ammo as you can, find as many grenades as you can, and then we're going to head into the church for the next combat sequence. Now, as soon as you guys are able to control Nathan, I want you to run back to this spot and wait. Sully's going to take off and go to the right. He's going to be acting as a diversion for us, but we want to remain right here, okay? The reason why is because there's two enemies with M79s. You can see them firing at me now. We want to kill those two enemies in the doorway. It's very important that they drop their M79 in the doorway because we're going to need that M79 for later. Now, in previous chapters, I was telling you guys that you'll always know when there's an enemy that has an M79 because they have a red shirt on. Notice here that I'm shooting the enemy with the M79, no red shirt. That's just because we're at the end of the game, but you'll always be able to know that they have the M79 because of the hat that they're wearing, okay? So once you kill the two enemies with the hat, you guys know that both of the M79 enemies are dead, okay? Then kill the third enemy. Notice the two M79 guys, they died in the doorway. You can see the M79 icon show up there. That's exactly where you want to have the M79, okay? Now at this point, you're gonna have up to 5 enemies that you need to kill in the rafters. I say up to 5 because sometimes Sully will kill some of them for you. There was one for me, there's 2. I'm gonna have 2 enemies on the left. Again, some of these enemies might be dead in your game already. That's gonna be enemy number 3. Then of course we got enemy number 4. Try to take him out with the dragon sniper if you can. And then of course enemy number 5. Now as soon as you shoot this last enemy, okay, I'm showing you here where the M79 is, okay, as soon as you shoot this enemy in the window, you have to run back. I'm showing you now where the grenades are. You're gonna have to run and get the grenades, run back to the M79, and then go to the right of where Sully is and take cover. So notice I got the kill, running over, grabbing the grenades, run back, get the M79, get all the ammo that you can. Then we're going to run to the left, go all the way to the end of this bench, post up to the right of Sully, and wait for these enemies. Now, the piece of cover that I'm showing you guys is extremely safe, unless the enemies get behind you. They are trained to be aggressive here, okay? There's about 5 enemies or so, and they're going to want to flash to that doorway and then shoot back at you guys. And they're going to have an angle on you if you let them get back there. So notice that I've got my grenade arched on the doorway, and here they come. So I want you guys to anticipate this. Go ahead and toss a grenade, get that kill. We do not want them to get into that doorway. Now that second grenade missed, but I think the third grenade is going to pick up a kill or 2. You're trying to get as many kills as you can with the grenade, because just because these enemies have pushed back into the map a little bit does not mean that they're going to stay there. You can see here that I still have 3 enemies on the map. I've used all my grenades and I only have 1 M79 round left. Ideally, you want to have all these enemies dead by the time you use your grenades and your M79 round. But with the grenades, because of the way the explosive damage works, a lot of times, even if they're standing right by the grenade, it won't kill them. Does that make sense? Same thing happens when they toss a grenade at you. It seems like it should kill you, but it doesn't. So ideally, you guys want to take as many of them out as you can with the grenades in the M79, but if it doesn't work out, you guys can slide over here beside Sully. He'll block some of the shots for you, and then of course you guys can pick up some blind fire kills, or you can run out like I'm doing here and go ahead and get a melee kill if it's the only enemy left. Remember, the enemies are going to be focused on Sully. He's acting as a diversion, so it gives you guys advantage play. Now, we're not out of the woods yet, guys. We still have more enemies. They're going to be flooding in from the double doors at the front of the church. There's also an enemy up top, which you can see now. He's trying to laser sight me, okay? So what you guys want to do is hop over that bench where you and Sully were, grab as much ammo as you can, and then book it to the other side of the church and post up behind the candles. Now, once you guys post up behind the candles, you're in a very dominant position, especially if you were able to grab the shotgun on your way up. If you couldn't, that's fine. You guys can always use the pistol, but the shotgun is dominant. There may even be some more grenades laying around depending on where you kill the enemies. Those are awesome too because you can just toss grenades at these enemies. But the main thing you guys want to do is just wait till they get close and then hit them with some blind fire. Now, sometimes the enemies are not going to want to push up close enough for you guys to get some blind fire kills. Now, if you guys have the shotgun, you can hit these dudes at range because of the spread of the shotgun. But if you've just got the pistol, you might have to choose your shots a little bit carefully here. Remember, the laser sight guy is not a problem unless you're out of cover for more than a few seconds, right? He's not going to be able to kill you. And because there's only 3 enemies on ground level, once you kill one of the enemies, it's a 2v1. And you guys already know the deal with a 2v1. You just wait for one of the enemies to reload, pop out of cover, get some shots on target until you're able to kill both of those enemies. And then we want to focus on killing the enemy with the laser. After you guys kill the enemy up top and Nathan and Sully start talking, that wraps up this very tricky combat single. So remember, it's all about body position. You want to go through one wave at a time, put yourself in the right position for each wave, and that'll keep you guys protected. All right, guys, let's go ahead and grab all the ammo that we can. Then you guys can interact with the altar. There's going to be a cutscene, and then we have one more treasure that we need to pick up. It's called the Golden Skull Rosary. Going to be treasure 60 of 61, and that's going to pop the trophy Master Fortune Hunter for collecting 60 treasures.
He was trying to stop it from leaving.
What?
It's cursed or something.
Oh, Nate, for God's sake.
Look, I know it sounds...
And that's going to be enough to wrap up this episode. Hopefully you guys have enjoyed. I'll see you right back here in episode 27. You guys be good.